Welcome to the Bridge of Two podcast. Welcome to the Bridge of Two podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
And in this corner, we had
Let's get ready to podcast.
I thought you were gonna start up in a jig or something like that. Start singing.
What I have sung?
Just,
Into the cosmere.
No.
Into the cosmere.
please, when you meet Sanderson himself, please just shake his hand and just start belting it. Into the cosmere. Anyway, welcome.
Yep.
To the Bridge of Two podcast.
Yeah, welcome. It's a very musical opening, thanks to you.
Thanks to me.
Yeah, thanks to you is saying that you thought I was going to sing something.
You're the one who started off singing something.
No, I started off
very musical.
Let's get ready to rumble.
It sounded very, very more like you were singing a song.
Ah, I see.
It was very sing-songy.
Yeah. Anyway, the rhythms are just pulsing tonight.
Whoa. What type of rhythms?
The pure rhythms of Roshar. Anyway. How are you doing? Somehow we have to start this podcast.
I thought we already did. I'm doing all right. How about you?
Doing well. I'm excited for you to get on a plane and fly and not get stuck.
So. I sure hope we get on a plane and fly tomorrow instead of it getting canceled because of a hurricane or me getting recalled to work because they hate me.
Right. Me too. I mean, me too. I don't want that to happen to you.
Well, with luck, a week from today, we'll be getting close to meeting Sanderson himself.
That's right. Wait, we're going to meet him? We're not going to meet him. We're just going to see him talk. We'll just be close to him.
We might be meeting him.
What?
Your boy's pass got picked for a live to do the signing session that he's.
Wait, you got what?
My pass got randomly picked to go in the signing thing. So I should.
That's no fair.
But I can bring a friend.
You can?
I'm pretty sure is what it said.
Oh.
Turns out
if only we were friends.
Turns out, yeah. I'm going to find some random guy there and just bring him. No, but of course you're coming.
Yay. I accept.
See, look, it says you know that you're allowed to bring one additional person through the line with you.
You have to fit the glass slipper on
and he will personalize one book per person.
Per person?
That's what it says.
What? He'll personalize a book for me?
Per person. And we'll sign up to 3 additional books each.
Oh my gosh. I was thinking that he was only gonna, like, those 3 only applied to you.
I think it's for everybody. Every person.
I'll bring something. I wonder if he'll sign, I was thinking about this.
Should have him sign just like the Lord of the Rings.
I was thinking, what if he signed my, my short story?
Oh, that'd be cool.
So I can feel like, I wrote this.
Oh, we should have printed out the Bridge of Two podcast and like a what's it called?
Oh, like get the transcript of it or something?
No, like
like get like the image you drew
as a
like a poster or something.
Yeah, a poster. That's what can I think of? Yeah,
that's
as a poster and just have him sign that. That would be fun.
We could get. I wonder if he'd sign. I bet he'd sign one of the business cards.
That's true.
If assuming they get here.
Oh yeah, when are they supposed to get here?
They're supposed to get here tomorrow, but then there's like a production delay.
How many do we have?
100, I think, or more.
But yes, we should be meeting him. And as far as what this says, we'll read over it again. But it says 1 additional person and personalized book per person, and 3 additional books each. It says signing fiend.
Do you remember how many it said were picked?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I just know that mine was picked for some reason.
Be exciting, for sure. I'm not sure what I'm going to say. Or ask him to, if I have the option, I'm not sure I'll ask him to personalize, like how to personalize it.
Yeah.
Draw your a shard blade. Just make up a shard blade design and draw it.
Yeah, become an artist right now. I know you're a writer, but become an artist. A different kind of artist.
And name it and do the backstory.
Just write a whole half a book on this sheet of paper for me, please, as a personalized signature.
Oh, well, you know what would be fun? Actually, is to ask him can you write a writing prompt?
Oh.
And then I'll like write something for the writing prompt.
That would actually be pretty cool.
I don't know if you'd do it, but
maybe.
That's my own my personality is I'm afraid to like overextend into that kind of a situation where
you're asking too much.
Yeah, like you want the interaction to be only positive, you know. And I actually had an opportunity to meet someone that is a politician that I was supporting and had a bad interaction.
Oh no!
I won't tell the whole story.
You're gonna have to later.
I will tell you, yeah. But I still like the guy, but it's just the situation, the climate around that time. There was just some negativity around him. I think he just misinterpreted, my motives, But that kind of thing is like I don't want that to happen ever. Like the last thing I want is to be like Brandon Sanders ask something and be like, "That's really inappropriate for you to ask that."
I would die laughing if that happened. I think I would just have to.
We both get kicked out.
Okay, well then I'd be upset. As long as I got all my stuff signed.
If I'm going down, you're going down with me.
Oh man.
Anyway,
sir, that's inappropriate. You need to leave.
Here's my. Can we take this manuscript and read it?
I want you to. Can you proofread this? You should publish this book for me.
Can you proofread this? Consider incorporating this into the Cosmere.
I think this would be a really nice addition to the Cosmere.
I wrote my own planet. Anyway, I heard you're taking on partners. Dan Wells is the first. I'd like to humbly submit my name.
How about a nice up-and-coming author?
Yeah. I'm moldable.
You can mold me to your will.
Putty in your hands.
Please take me, Sanderson, please. Oh.
I'm a chondra.
Well. Anyway, what have you been up to, Josh?
I'm trying to burn through the Wax and Wayne books. Wax and the Wayne.
I mean, yes. I do get strong The Lopin vibes from Wayne, to be fair.
That should be what it's called. What?
I do get strong The Lopin vibes from Wayne.
Yeah, so. He is that'd be a fun meeting if the Lopin and Wayne met each other. It'd be amazing.
The Wayne is just the best character in the Cosmere.
The Wayne is amazing.
Are you enjoying it?
I am enjoying it a lot. I'm just pushing myself more than I would be, obviously, because I'm trying to get done. I'm on the second book. I'm very close to being done. And then I need to start the third book immediately. Mm-hmm. And then I need to just read it like crazy and read it on the plane the whole way.
I plan on reading most of it on the plane.
And I need to be reading it somehow at the convention because I don't think I have enough time. Anyway.
Maybe you should stop listening to it and actually read it.
Well, I only listen to it when I can't do the...
Yeah.
I actually downloaded the Kindle app on my phone.
Okay.
So that if I don't have my Kindle, I'm reading it on my phone, which isn't that bad.
Oh, no.
I thought it was going to be annoying, but it's not.
No, it's usually not that bad especially if you're not doing it the entire time.
Yeah.
On your phone.
No, I read like 3 or 4 chapters yesterday.
Well, you're almost done from where you told me you're at. You're like really close to being finished. Like it ends quicker than you realize.
Right. Well, I think I have like 5 or 6 chapters left or something.
And you're like pretty much at the Sanderlanche point.
It feels like it. Yeah, it feels like the part I just got to is like the beginning of the Sanderlanche. So I'm going to ride that wave of Lanch.
Ride that Lanch.
Yeah.
You get it, Stephanie.
I'm gonna snowboard the tsunami of Lanch. Sanders tsunami. Anyway.
Anything else you've been doing?
Playing Batman.
Oh, are you liking it?
Not Batman, Gotham Knights.
I mean, it's basically just Batman.
Well, without Batman.
Are you liking it?
Yeah, I'm liking it. It's got some rough edges.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, it's not as polished as I would like it to be.
I think if they stick with updating it, though, they can make it polished.
I hope so.
And,
yeah.
You know,
it's just like little stuff, you know, it's like just like coming to the edge of a building and like it's just not smooth transitioning.
I heard they're still trying to fix that where like when you're crouched on something and you're trying to just like go off so like
right, and
you end up like flying all the way over here. Yeah, they're trying. I think they're trying to fix that because that's really annoying. I think they did fix it actually on consoles, but they haven't fixed it on PC.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I just hope they stick with it because they can fix a lot of it, polish it up, and make it a good
right. Game. Yeah, I think it's definitely like it's not so bad that I'm like, you know, want to return it or anything.
It's super enjoyable.
But yeah. But I know I like the way that you have this roster that you can switch between and kind of seamlessly continue the story, but still have it still changes the game a little bit enough that it makes it interesting and freshens it. I switched over. I started out with Robin and then I went over to Red Hood recently.
How do you like Red Hood?
I like him.
He's definitely a fun character.
I like just being able to pull up a gun and just start shooting. And his like, what do you call him? Like his mappable abilities that like one of them's just like a barrage of bullets at someone. It's kind of
he's a fun character. He's him and Nightwing were my two.
Yeah,
I've solidified on Nightwing for the rest of the playthrough.
Okay,
just because I really like his playstyle, but I was close with doing Red Hood too. I like Robin and Batgirl as well, but
yeah. I want to try them all out at this point. Like, I feel like it'll be fun to try them all. And, yeah, I like the RPG elements of just the skill tree and the different, suits and like a little bit of, forging. What's the word?
Dude,
crafting. Yeah. Crafting like stuff. That's cool. So anyway, I'm enjoying it.
Good.
And that's pretty much it for me right now.
You been doing any writing?
Yeah, I have been. I'm not as fast as I want to be, and it's November, and normally I would be doing some kind of NaNoWriMo thing, but
that's right. You've been doing so much writing this year.
Yeah, I just don't have the juice because like you said, I have been on kind of a really consistent writing schedule, so I just don't have it in me to go even further with that.
Pretty sure Sanderson's doing NaNoWriMo this year.
He is.
Freaking
SandoWriMo. He called it SandoWriMo.
He'll be done in like 2 days.
He's posting his like word count and then trying
him.
to keep up with them. Yeah. I just don't have it. I had a really good writing night the other night. I didn't write a ton of words, but I made this episode feel complete and feel a lot better and more polished. Good. The most recent one I wrote, and
do you have
came away liking it. So
do you have any ideas yet of when you might get your stuff put out on Mithril? If not, I mean,
I haven't heard anything concrete. You know, I have the cover. I really like it, and I have the image for the first lore card. There's one more lore card I know that would have to be done. Would normally be done for them to launch it. So that's obviously part of it. But I don't know if they're waiting on me. Like, I don't know if they're waiting on me to finish the season or because originally it was like 25 to 30 episodes to launch, but I don't know if that's changed. So I need to communicate and like look for a little bit of a see what they're thinking. You know, I'm sure they have probably they have things lined up that are going to be releasing. They probably have like are gonna have a method to when it's released and everything to set it up and
okay. I was just curious if anything heard anything yet.
Not yet, but I'm getting a little bit antsy, so I'm gonna probably find out soon.
Cool. Sweet.
You have anything going on?
I finished Shadows of Self.
That's the book I'm trying to finish. Yeah. And you started the next one.
My goal is to try and finish Bands of Mourning before you finish Shadows. That's not gonna happen. Unless I sat down and read tonight, which I'm not going to. I'm not gonna finish it. Well, I don't know. I have the whole plane ride tomorrow. That's 4 hours worth of reading. I can knock out that book in 4 hours.
How many hours do you have left? Do you know? You can't really tell.
I don't know how fast
You
I
don't
read.
have an audiobook.
No, I don't. Can't. I don't know. I'm not big on audiobooks. I mean, I am, but like, not on Sanderson audiobook. I think it's because I've read them so much on have voices
It's
in
because,
my head.
yeah, and the pronunciations in your head too.
Yeah, shut up. It's been so fun reading through them again though, because there are a lot of things that I forgot. Because when I last read through them, I was like, that Wax and Wayne series was my last set of Cosmere stuff I needed to read. And so, not that I was burnt out on the Cosmere stuff, but I was kind of ready to go ahead and start reading something else, and I had a series lined up. I actually had the Galaxy's Edge series lined up. So when I was reading, I kind of went pretty fast through it, because I was also like, this isn't important. It's just,
right.
I ended up really liking it, but
it's just a side.
But it was just a side thing. But now that I've gone back and read it, I'm like, oh, there's a lot here.
Yeah.
Especially now I'm in the third book again. I'm like, oh, there is actually a really lot here.
Mm.
And also, now that I've slowed down, like really like I'm reading the story and paying attention to the character. Like this, great. Some of my favorite characters in the Cosmere so far actually are Wax and Wayne.
Yeah.
I love their partnership. I love their interactions. Wayne is hilarious.
Yeah, Wayne's funny.
Such interesting character traits.
It's just so funny too, like knowing Brandon Sanderson is writing all his dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I know. But hopefully, I should hopefully have Bands of Morning finished by the time the conference rolls around. If not finished, really close to it. Just
you mean, yeah, Bands of Morning. That's the third one. Yeah.
Yeah, it just depends on how long how much I end up reading on the trip and all that.
Yeah.
And I only say that because I started playing Pokemon Sword and Shield again.
Okay.
So I might be playing that a little bit on the plane. Just haven't decided. I don't know yet. And I've been trying to draw a little bit more.
Yeah.
I kind of Friday at work, I pretty much was like, I'm not going to draw it all today. I'm just going to read when I'm not doing anything for work.
Mm.
And so that's when I was able to finish Shadows itself. I think it was Thursday or Friday. No, it was Friday. Or it might have been Thursday. But I'm not going to do that with I want to draw. I'm really trying to stick with this drawing still.
Yeah.
So, other than that though, I've also been playing a little bit of Gotham Knights. Not much. Work has been busy, so I haven't really had much time. And when I do, I kind of just, when I'm off work, I come home, sit on the couch, and turn on YouTube and kind of shut my brain off.
Yeah.
But I played a little bit today. Getting a little bit further in the story. Started up New World again. They just released their Fresh Start servers. And they've completely revamped the leveling system, the questing. Leveling is a lot easier. They've added a bunch of new stuff. They have that whole free update that they did, like expansion almost, that they did.
Okay.
And so that's been really fun. I've been playing that with my brother. Shout out to Juwu.
Shout out to Juwu.
So that's been fun. Other than that, that's also kind of it for me. Not much. No, I haven't watched any TV or any movies recently. I got a few things lined up I want to watch, but
yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it. I still consistently listen to my D&D podcast.
You caught up with another D&D?
Not another D&D podcast, yeah.
Another.
I pretty much just stayed caught up with them. I'm actually doing a re-listen for the third time of their first campaign.
Okay.
Just when I'm out and doing whatever, playing a game that I don't need. If I'm playing like a multiplayer game, I don't need to...
Right.
Or New World, I don't really need to listen to what's going on if they're on.
Right.
So I love that podcast. It's just so good.
Yeah.
It's funny. And I really enjoy it. So other than that, yeah, that's it for me.
At the conference that we're about to go to, there is a charity tabletop game that Dan Wells is going to be running. It's going to be like audience interaction and stuff. Could be fun.
That might be fun to go swing by and see.
Because he runs like tabletop games partially for a living.
Yeah.
So could be interesting.
They're doing a bunch of different things. Like they're doing like a magic thing too, aren't they? But that's not open.
Yeah, there's gonna be like a charity Magic the Gathering. Yeah, but I don't know if there's ticketed events, which I didn't even realize until the other day.
Yeah, I didn't either. It's fine.
But yeah, it would have been cool.
I'm there to
be
just
at an 8-person table with Dan Wells.
That would have been
cool.
That would have been cool.
But that probably went really fast.
I'm hoping to see some cool artwork and stuff there too, though.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of authors there. I mean, there's gonna be besides the actual like events, there's gonna be booths and stuff.
Yeah, I'm excited just to walk around. I already told my wife that I'm keeping my suitcase light because I plan on buying some stuff and bringing it back.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure
So.
there'll be stuff that, we're not expecting that we're going to be like, oh, I need to get that.
I need to buy that. I need that. I need that. I need this. Yep.
It's cool. So that'll be fun. But yeah.
But yeah, that's it for me. What do you say we take a quick little break?
Yeah.
Come back. I think tonight we're going to talk a little bit about fight scenes.
Yeah, we're going to do a just more freeform kind of topic and just see where the fight scenes take us.
See where they go.
All right.
Alrighty.
See you soon. Welcome back.
Ho, ho, ho.
Santa? Is that you?
Yes. Welcome back, everybody.
I'm a big fan.
Oh. Well, thank you.
Yeah, so we have some drinks to try. We are over 21.
We are over 21.
You can try these.
These are the Smirnoff Ice, the Red, White, and Merry Holiday Punch flavor.
It's Red, White, and Merry, MERRY, like as in Merry Christmas. What?
M-A-R-Y, like Mary, as in Mary the Northern.
That's what I first thought. When I first thought Red, White, and Merry, like, is this like Bloody Mary or something?
Red, White, and Mary Magdalene.
Red, White, and marry someone.
Red, White, marry me.
Best proposal idea. How is it? You're like halfway done already.
I was thirsty. Okay?
I haven't even taken a sip.
I was thirsty. We're just running through this one. It's actually pretty good. I like Smirnoff, so they're very sweet.
Wow, yeah. Very fruit punch.
Yes. Definitely went more name brand with this just generic company, but
I had back when I first was trying to find out what I liked alcoholic wise. Someone told me I should try Smirnoff Ice because I didn't like beer at first, and I like hard ciders. And yeah, they're really sweet. Like also you got like the hard lemonade, Mike's Hard Lemonade.
I almost got a Mike's Hard, but that was just even more generic.
Yeah.
This one at least was a holiday flavor. The only other one I saw was
you can sort of justify it.
The only one I saw that was interesting was the Yingling Hershey's chocolate flavor, but I thought we did that already.
Yeah.
I just didn't remember, so.
Oh, I think we did because where I worked. No. Oh yeah, no, we got them from Josh's job. They had bought them and didn't like them, and we tried them. I'm pretty sure
They're all right.
it was something chocolate. I
just couldn't remember, so I was like, we'll go with this. I know
because it is,
this.
Christmas now.
It is Christmas now. Well,
The day after Halloween, it was
after Halloween, it's Christmas.
Everything
now.
became Christmas.
I know, it kind of
kinda
hurts my
crazy.
soul. The Christmas music hasn't started on the radio yet, though, so we're okay.
Mariah Carey is still sleeping.
She's still
in her cryo
hibernation.
chamber.
Yeah, she's still in hibernation. Soon she will awaken and take over the world again for a month.
Her reign will commence.
Her 2-month reign will commence.
Yes.
Oh, well.
So, fight scenes. Are you pro or anti?
I love fight scenes, dude.
Okay.
I'm big, I love the fight scenes in shows and movies.
Cool.
What
I'm
about you?
anti. I hate them all.
Really?
No, I'm
Interesting.
just
It's an interesting take to make. Take to have.
Make a take. Take a make.
Take a make.
Take. I like fight scenes for sure. I like them to be good.
Wow, this is some real intense topic.
I like them to be both good and meaningful.
But what makes a fight scene good, Josh?
Oh.
And what makes it meaningful?
Ooh. Well, I mean, you have like the fight scenes that are really technically, impressive, that are
For sure.
are fun, but there has to be stakes. Like it has to be. You have to know why that fight scene matters and what the stakes are. Otherwise, it's hard be as invested. Like you could like just pull up a random video of two guys having a very intense fight, and you'll be like, wow, that's impressive.
It's pretty cool.
But you will like feel nothing.
Yeah.
And
then you'll go back later and watch the movie and be like, wow, this has got some emotion behind it. This is awesome.
If you rewatch it, maybe.
Like if you watch the scene and then you go back to watch the movie that the scene is in.
Oh, right. If it was just a random fight scene that you didn't know the context. Yeah, absolutely.
And then you learn the context. You're like, oh, this is really cool. And this is
even
some emotion
cooler.
behind it. Yeah.
Yeah. What is the first fight scene that you remember really standing out to you? And you remember just being like, fight scenes are amazing.
Okay, well, when I was 4, the Teletubbies had an...
No, there were no fight scenes on Teletubbies. Nice try. Can't pull one over on me.
I mean, first fight scene I remember?
Well, like I don't know, like where you first remember being like, whoa, fight scenes.
Star Wars Episode 1.
Phantom Menace. Yeah.
Maul versus Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan. That was, that's just one of the first movies I remember ever watching as a kid. Yeah. And that whole movie just stands out to me. But the fight scene too was like, oh man, this is sweet.
Yeah.
Now I was young, so I didn't like appreciate fight scenes as much as I do now as well. Like the meaningfulness behind it and the emotion behind it. But even then, like, that's such a good fight scene just thinking on it now because it's very technical. It's definitely that first movie where like they kind of went from that like older original trilogy fighting to this more George Lucas made it a little bit more, I guess, modern in a way and changed
more
it up.
More
acrobatic. So there's obviously that technical aspect to it. The Darth Maul himself is a martial artist, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Which is super cool. So that was really interesting. But then you also have the emotion behind it of, you even get halfway through the fight where Qui-Gon dies, and now you have this second half, or at least last quarter of Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon going at it, and this is like Obi-Wan kind of letting his anger loose a little bit, So there was even like some emotional weight behind the fight as well. On top of this is the return of the Sith,
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think I'd probably say the same thing. I grew up watching Power Rangers, so I thought like fight scenes in Power Rangers, I was like, this is really cool.
That's true.
And I don't remember if the Power Rangers movie may have come out before Episode 1 in theaters.
Which
probably
one?
did.
The Ivan News one?
Yeah.
I remember watching that movie as a kid.
Yeah. I saw that in theaters.
I think that came out after. No, wait, when did Episode 1
Well, Episode 1 was
99, so maybe it did come out before.
So it probably came out before. But, them being like ninjas, like I just thought it was so cool, them being ninjas for some reason. They did the exact same stuff as when they were, but wearing the ninja costumes was really cool.
95, yeah. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. We should watch that.
Sorry, Lucas.
Let's do an episode on that.
Power Rangers. Ivan News? I'm for it. I will do it.
That used to be one of
that movie is
34%
so good.
on Rotten Tomatoes. This is nonsense.
It is so good because it is so bad. Like,
it's going to be good when the movie opens with them parachuting out of an airplane and then doing a rollerblading montage. That's going to be a good movie.
I just love the like 5-minute montage of them like in their the first time you see them in their Power Ranger suits, and it's like whoosh, 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 whoosh. Sorry, bumped the mic. It's like them like turning and like the wind sound effects happening, and then like also the sound of their suits sounds like spandex, like plastic, like. Anyway, just like goes on.
Such a good movie.
Anyway, I think it definitely had some. I don't know how, but I think Batman and Robin was tapping into the same energy as that movie.
Batman and Robin was tapping into a whole lot of some energy that no one should be tapping into.
That movie is another one.
To meet you.
Every line Arnold Schwarzenegger says in that movie is a ice pun.
That is also a great movie just because
everybody
of the ice puns.
Jules.
It is amazing.
That probably predated that episode 1 too, and I definitely was into the fight scenes in that movie, but they don't stand out. Like they're not memorable. Like I can't remember the fight. Like I will never. And I mean, part of it's because I've seen episode 1 more, but I was quite like Qui-Gon Jinn as a character, was really gripping, and so that's part of the reason I think that fight stands out to me is because he dies in it. It's like this whole movie he sees something that the Jedi don't in Anakin, which everybody knows is important. And then also you have the looming threat of the Sith that's like hasn't been a thing for a long time, and it's like these two Jedi just are they're the ones facing the first Sith that Jedi have faced in like hundreds of years or something maybe. Mm-hmm. And there's just a lot of weight to that scene, and like you said, just the technical excellence of it. It's also just beautiful, like
absolutely.
the sets they move through in that fight are so different and so like
that is also what made it such a good fight scene. I agree with you. Is it wasn't stationary in one setting. It moved, and it moved in a way that was realistic to the world of being able to force jump and like do these leaps and stuff like that, and these fast runs. But it was just also cool to have the different aspects of them in different places. You know, Obi-Wan gets kicked off the ledge and gets pushed back. Yeah. You know.
Well, even they slow the fight down. I mean, like I think it's probably personally, I think it's the best fight scene, like duel in the prequels.
I'm sorry, huh? I'm sorry, what? You do know that the Revenge of the Sith is part of the prequels, right?
I do know that. But well, anyway,
hold on. Are we gonna fight? Are we gonna fight?
I don't know. Do we need to?
We might.
Are we gonna have a fight scene?
We might have a fight scene here.
I hope it's like episode.
And there'll be a lot of emotion behind it when I chop your head off.
Yeah, I'd like to see you try.
So, okay, what makes you say it's the best one in the prequel trilogy?
Well, there are so many different levels that you're getting, right? You've got this Jedi Master who's got his Padawan with him. Mm-hmm. So it's like balancing, like fighting with him against this guy, but also just like Qui-Gon's just like locking in on him, trying to make sure they take care of business. You know, they get, you know, whenever him and Obi-Wan get separated, it changes the fight, because then now if the fight slows down between those force fields, right, and then there's like a mental battle is happening. And in sports, whenever the momentum is going a certain direction, and then something happens that kind of just completely kills the momentum, and then it's just anybody's. It's kind of a toss up, like where the momentum goes from there. It doesn't matter who was winning before. It doesn't matter how it was going before. It's kind of like the fight starts over, and so then that's kind of what happens at that point. It's like a completely like new fight with just Maul and Qui-Gon. You know, and then it changed, and then once again you have another layer of then now Obi-Wan is like dealing with the grief of Qui-Gon and fighting Maul, but fighting for his life too. I mean, it's just, I don't know, there's just something about it. It's just, to me, a little more. By the time you get to like Revenge of the Sith, the fight is like, it's just the outcome of what's happening. It's the fight is like in episode 3 has less, I don't know, I guess it doesn't have less consequence, but like Anakin's already turned to the dark side, you know what I mean? And Obi-Wan and him, they're just fighting because he's like, I have to take care of you.
I mean, yes, but there's also so much more happening in that fight than just needing to take care of you, because, I mean, you gotta think that you have these past 3 movies, the whole past 3 movies of these 2 characters. So episode 1 fight. Wonderful fight. I think it's great. I mean, even thinking back to it, like that Qui-Gon dies in episode 1. You know, of this new trilogy of like, oh, so this can go anywhere.
Yeah.
You know, we're killing off what we thought was a main character.
Yeah.
You know, but now in episode 3, you have this battle of the heroes, Anakin and Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan going, you know, even telling Yoda prior to, you know, send me to kill the Emperor, but I can't kill Anakin.
Yeah.
You know, now he's going to go fight his friend who he knows has just turned to the dark side, has just slaughtered kids and the entire Jedi Temple. Knows what he has to do, but doesn't know if he can do it, but goes anyway. And then you have this fight. After, first of all, you have him talking with Anakin, and Anakin's obviously lost it. He's gone too far down the rabbit hole. He's fully engulfed in the dark side right now, to the point where he almost basically kills his wife. And then you have this fight. Very technical fight from a viewing standpoint of like, it's a very technical fight to watch. There's a lot going on. Another set of they move around there, but there's a lot of different set pieces happening. But there's so much emotion behind each thing that happens.
Yeah. I agree.
That it just hits so differently. And then, obviously, you have the ending with all of that happens, and there's that whole emotional. I don't know. It just feels like there's so much emotion. Yeah, I get what you're saying. There's like you kind of know that this is the conclusion it's coming to, but there's still so much emotional weight and baggage behind this fight.
Yeah,
which I think gives it so much, which is why it's one of my favorites in the movies. Not just because it's technical and it looks cool and acrobatic. Because I would say probably my second favorite isn't as technical, and that's the Luke and Darth Vader fight. Once again, because of the emotional weight behind it.
Yeah.
And what's happening. That's what really pushes me with episode 3's fight is, the emotional aspect of it.
Yeah.
The brothers that are fighting. Episode 1 fight is great, but it doesn't have the same emotional baggage as it does up until really the end there when Qui-Gon goes down. In my opinion.
No, I agree that I think the episode 3 fight does have much more emotional weight to it, like you said, because of those characters and their relationship being on display for the last couple movies with the same actors, but like even starting in starts in episode 1 whenever Obi-Wan is like pushing to train Anakin to honor his master's dying wish.
And then you also have that aspect going, like comparing with episode 1 fight episode 1 with the fight episode 3 is you have master and apprentice fighting together to defeat the Sith. Now you have master and apprentice fighting against each other.
Yeah.
With one trying to defeat a Sith.
Yeah, it's true. I think part of it too maybe is just that because like they're both gonna survive. You know what I mean? Like
I don't know. Well, I guess you do know, but
right? because of the original trilogy.
Yeah, that is the one thing that kind of
he's gonna end up in the suit. That Obi-Wan's kind of come out of it on top. Mm-hmm.
Well,
and Anakin's not gonna die.
Sort of on top. I think George Lucas did a good job of making him come out on top, but also not come out on top.
Well, he won the fight, but he lost. Like he failed his mission.
Everything.
He failed his mission.
Yes.
Which you get to,
and his friend.
Yeah, absolutely.
You are my brother, Anakin.
The mission of friendship.
I love
the ultimate mission.
Exactly what I'll yell at you when I kill you. I mean, what?
When you kill me on Salt Flats of Salt Lake City.
That's why I'm really bringing you out there.
What else? You want to talk about? So we could stay on the Star Wars fights, or we could go to a different fight and come back.
I mean, we can jump over to the other ending fight of a movie,
Episode 6.
Episode 6.
Yeah,
with our good friends Vader and Luke.
Yeah, that one's. I think that one. Once again, I would put that above. I would put that above episode 3.
I might actually also put this one above episode 3.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you a big part of why. Another reason why episode 3 works so well, the one episode works really well. But another reason why I really like the one episode 6 too. On top of just everything that's happening to it, the score for both those fights is phenomenal. I think as much as I love Battle of the Heroes, I think episode 6 has got it because of the different intricacies of when different things are happening and the way the music ebb and flows.
Yeah. The music's very powerful in that fight scene.
It's just such a good, like the score John Williams just really kills it with that scene.
Well, the music's like haunting. Mm-hmm. I mean, especially whenever he's like whacking, just pounding his father, the music is just like haunting. And then, whenever he kind of realizes.
Some of the best dialogue is in that scene too. Mm-hmm. Especially at the end after he does the whacking and chops his arm off and then he stops and he throws his lightsaber to the side and says, "You failed, Emperor. I am a Jedi like my father before me."
Yeah, I love fights like that where that's something I love in fight scenes whenever it's not about the person having the right move at the right time. It's not about it's like they're fighting, but then what it all comes down to is not the fight. What it all comes down to is something else. Somehow there's a little bit of a twist to it, with Luke realizing that the way he has to fight back is to not fight in that moment, and that's what brings his father out of his feeling like he can't come back, because in that moment he's like, I have to come back. I can't just stand here and watch this. I'm so glad we didn't do that. Oh, didn't he do that didn't they recut episode 6 to make him do that? Oh, I don't know why George Lucas does this.
It's his movies. He can do what he wants, to be fair.
Yeah, but like, why? Like, objectively, I feel like it's more impactful to just the silent decision of Vader. I don't know why that scene he feels like he needs to vocally do something. I don't know. Yeah,
that fight scene is just such a good one, because in order for Luke to win, he needs to not fight, which is such a adverse thing to a fight scene of like. Normally in fight scenes, it's someone who's trying to beat the other one. But in order for him to actually win, he needs to put his lightsaber down. There's just a lot. There's so much to that fight. It definitely is. I actually think, I might agree with you. I think that one might be my favorite, even over episode 3.
And once again, I just like the complexity of the 3. You have 3 people, and they have different things going on. Mm-hmm. You have like Sidious and he's completely in his mind, completely manipulated things right into the position that he believes they need to be for Luke to join him. And, and Vader's struggling with has his conflict going on. And Luke is just trying to follow the Jedi way, like in that fight scene, and save his friends, because like, that's where his tension is, where the pull of the dark side is for him is
to save his friends, and Leia is his
friends
sister.
are dying because the whole thing's been a trap. I mean,
remember, that's even when he jumps into that whole super aggressive mood, is when Vader's just like, your sister. Maybe if you won't join me, she will.
Yeah,
and that's when Luke's like, no.
That's when he when he kind of snaps for a minute,
and then he cuts off the arm, sees the robot, and then he sees himself, and he's just like, oh man. This is the path I'm going down.
Yeah.
And then you have the redemption of Anakin, and such a good movie.
Mm.
I'm gonna rewatch that movie now.
I mean, that's a great fight, right? Whenever you have you can have a redemption of an enemy through the fight. It's definitely a cool thing.
Oh, definitely.
But yeah. What's the next Star Wars fight we should do?
So you have the cinematics, which are really good, actually. But we'll go to this.
What's a really good non-Star Wars fight we should talk about?
Well, I don't know. There's one I want to talk about. I don't want to spoil anything for you in case you do end up wanting to watch it.
Avatar?
Yeah.
What do you like about it?
Well, that
Avatar: The Last Airbender, not the James Cameron movie.
Specifically, the last fight. And anybody who's watched Avatar: The Last Airbender, you know what I'm talking about. The fight with Ozai, at the end between Aang, and that one's such a good one because that's what this entire show is leading up to. And the entire show, Aang is being led a certain way to do a certain thing by everybody, and he just wants to not do that. Mm-hmm. And I won't, like I said, I won't go into it because I don't want to spoil it. And how he finds a way out of it. Or a way to do what he needs to do is just super interesting.
Yeah.
It's just a really good fight scene in general too. The animation's really well done. It's just very cool. But the way the fight plays out and everything is just it's pretty phenomenal. It's definitely one of the better ones out there in my opinion. Especially for animation. Not just for choreography and animation, but for storytelling and sticking with how the character would do.
Yeah.
And having the accumulation of all the events, what everything was leading up to.
I think oftentimes a fight going into like a final fight like that, whenever not everything is known, it's kind of like they don't really know how they're going to win the fight. They just know they have to, like, the fight's here. And then whenever they kind of like figure something out in a satisfying way in the middle of the fight, that's always a really, awesome moment.
I don't even remember how he figured out how to do it, but I remember how it happens. It's been a long time since I've watched it.
Friendship. Does he remember friendship?
Definitely friendship.
Pictures of the faces of his friends, and then he levels up. I haven't watched it, so I don't know.
You just
I probably nailed it.
You just basically described Kingdom Hearts.
Good old Kingdom Hearts. That's some good fight scenes.
That does have some good fight scenes in it.
Actually, some of those fight scenes are like fight scenes I can picture, like stuck with me, like the like Riku and Roxas. You know, Riku blindfolded and everything. But yeah, we don't get
that. Is a good one, actually.
Yeah,
I like that one. That was one of the. That was a good one because that was the hidden cut scene at the end of the first game. And so you have this, and you're like, what's going on?
Why is Riku, and why does this guy have 2 Keyblades? And that's Oblivion and Oathkeeper.
That was the coolest, was the 2 Keyblades. As a kid and seeing that, you're like, what, 2?
Dual wielding.
He's got 2?
Yeah.
I love it. Good stuff.
I asked my wife, what's a fight scene that stood out to her?
Mm-hmm.
And she said immediately, pretty much, Avengers. She said the first Avengers movie, and it was not a specific, I mean, like, you have that big battle, right, at the end of the movie that has just a lot of different things that happen through the course of it. But she just liked the way they would, and I think there was like a specific montage where it was like, it kind of swept, the camera kind of was swept and followed each Avenger as they were like taking someone out, kind of. And I think it ended with Hulk like breaking off a piece of one of those the flying things, and like you putting it into the one, and then Thor like hammering it down.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. So like that whole that's something she mentioned, and it made me think. It kind of made me remember like, when you talk about like an impactful fight scene or that you remember. I remember seeing that movie and seeing like that whole thing, and it was just very magical. Seeing like how they strung all these superheroes together and seeing them fighting their own different ways and stuff.
That was the first time we had them all together too. That was the first like big superhero like all together movie.
Yeah,
the Avengers.
They just well choreographed stuff in that fight scene. Very, very satisfying. You know, there's some movies where there's a fight scene that you're like looking forward to getting to in the movie, and that's kind of why you're watching it, because it's like. You're like, I know everything that happens, but I really want to see this fight scene, you know?
And exactly what you're talking about.
I feel like that Avengers is kind of like that. Episode 1's like that. For sure.
Thinking of the Avengers, one that just popped in my mind. Captain America, the Winter Soldier. The last fight scene with him and Bucky.
Yeah.
That one's a really good one. Technical wise, all those fight scenes in Captain America are really good, very technical, the choreography is just phenomenal. But then you also have that emotional, like when he's getting beat up and pummeled.
Right. Another one of those kind of like refusing to fight.
I can keep going.
Scene, and he just, kind of just takes, which is like really painful to watch.
But then also calling back to the first movie of him being like, I can
do this all day.
Yeah,
or I'm with you to the end of the end of the line. Yeah. Yeah, paying off that stuff from the first Captain America.
Oh man, speaking of another Marvel movie, that
Civil War actually like has that really impactful fight with Iron Man and Captain America.
That one's really good. That one's really good too for
it's like same kind of vibes as like Anakin and Obi-Wan, you know, because they're friends.
You also have really good cinematography there with and choreography with Captain America and the Winter Soldier fighting Iron Man together.
Yes, that shot. That shot is and then Iron Man like blasts off Bucky's arm, and then Captain America's got the shield, and it looks like he's going to bring it down on Iron Man's head, and he hits the arc reactor. Yeah,
digging into other Marvel stuff too. Some of the very interesting fight scenes are in the Spider-Man movies. The way Spider-Man fights with using the webs and swinging around, those are always so fun to watch. Not even necessarily anything like super emotionally impactful or anything like that, but just to watch them are just so fun. There's such cool scenes usually, especially the newer ones. swinging around the webs, using the webs as weapons, and slingshotting himself. It's just super cool.
Yeah, definitely. That's always just a satisfying thing in general. Seeing, like in the superhero movies especially, because you tend to have characters that have like superpowers and stuff. Seeing them, use their abilities in creative ways, to do things. Even like at the end of the Andrew Garfield, this is the first Andrew Garfield Spider-Man where he's really hurt. Mm-hmm. You have all the crane operators like position their cranes so that he has a kind of runway to this. Oh,
that's so good.
To get to the tower where they're gonna.
That's a good
disperse. Movie. Yeah, it is a good one for sure. I think all the Spider-Man movies
consistently.
I think all the Spider-Man movies are good movies. There's like cringe stuff in Spider-Man 3, but it's all like at this point it's like
it's just a meme, so
it's just a meme. So yeah, it's amazing.
I do. Tobey Maguire.
Bully Maguire.
Love him. Love them all.
I missed the part where that's my problem.
That was the I have 0 Fs to give before that was a thing.
Right.
I feel to see what that's my problem. Oh,
I love the fight scenes. I've always loved the fight scenes in the Marvel shows, like Daredevil, Iron Fist had good fight scenes.
Punisher.
I didn't actually see the Punisher show. I never watched it.
Punisher's
good but I saw him in Daredevil like season 2.
Punisher fight scenes are good because there's a lot. They're freaking. Each fight scene is weighty, like in the sense of like the blows that are being thrown are weighty. Like
yeah.
It's
the Daredevil Punisher fight is really.
I mean, the last fight scene in Punisher. Oh man, give that show a watch because the last fight scene of that first season is brutal.
Yeah.
But really good. But I never watched Iron Fist.
None of it.
I think I watched an episode maybe.
Season 1 is rough. As far as like the acting a little bit and the storyline is a little bit like convoluted, like you're kind of just confused. I think the character of Iron Fist is a little annoying in season 1. Mm-hmm. He's a lot less annoying in season 2. The story is much better in season 2, and I really wish they had kept going with that show, but obviously they completely changed the trajectory in all those shows. But
Daredevil was good though.
Daredevil was good, like really good 3 seasons. I mean, every season was great.
Hey, they're bringing him back.
They
did.
They did in She-Hulk. I don't think they really used him much, but
screw that show. I'm just gonna die on that hill. Screw that show.
Yeah, I have no interest in that show. Doesn't seem to be anything much there for me. But the Daredevil fights, though, were very like brutal, like because he doesn't have superpowers, like kind of but like he doesn't have super strength and super healing, so like he's getting like getting beat up while he's beating people up, and it's really hurting him, and they really do a good job of conveying that.
Oh yeah.
And he's wearing a blindfold too. It just looks amazing. And so I wrote down the hallway fight for him because that season 1 hallway fight, when I saw that, I was just in awe watching that fight.
That's just such a good one because that's one of those single shot fight scenes.
Exactly.
That's the issue of most fight scenes nowadays. Actually, is there's so many cuts.
It's hard to tell what's happening.
It's hard to tell what's happening
to appreciate it. Yeah.
And it's hard to do a single shot because it's a lot of stamina. And it's a lot of choreography that you have to be good at.
Right, otherwise it won't look good.
Now, they did a good job with it in that scene because it was a single shot, but it wasn't like you saw everything. Like, he was throwing in the rooms, and that was kind of their way to get around it, which is a good idea, though, because it looked great. That's a good scene.
Yeah, that was a... And it was all, I think, for a kid. There was like a kid that had been was being held by someone. He just goes in there and just takes all these guys out. And that was a cool, just in general, the fight scenes in that show is kind of like just an unbreakable will. Like he just had the will to win every fight.
It's kind of how the Punisher show is too.
Yeah,
he's just got revenge on his mind.
Yeah,
nothing's gonna stop him. The Marvel shows, like the Daredevil and the Punisher, Those ones jumped out to me when they first came out because this was still in the height of like I think the Avengers, the first Avengers, maybe the second Avengers that come out at that point. But so you had these like mainstream major movies and they had action in it, but their action was, I mean, the Marvel movies are still kid movies to an extent.
Yeah.
So they're not like as crazy. Like the fight scenes are definitely, you have people who get bloody and everything like that.
Right.
But then you jump over to these Marvel Daredevil Punisher. Right. I mean, these are fight scenes that are like, they're more accurate to what you would assume would happen in an actual fight scene. I mean, there's people getting bloody, their arms being broken. And there's something about that to me that just, that realism makes the fight scene even better.
Right.
Not that I just love to see gruesome stuff, because I don't. I see it enough as it is at work.
It just feels like the stakes are real. Like you really feel like these characters are, it's taking a toll on them.
And and when it's kind of nice when you can like feel the weight of the punch or feel the weight of that hit, or like, oh man,
or
the way
slice.
or the slice, or the way he grabbed that arm definitely like snapped it. Like, like there's different than just like watch someone get punched in the face 1,000 billion times.
Yeah. Well, there's that fight in, I mean, like the fight in with Daredevil in when he fights the Punisher, or when he's fighting the Punisher and then he fights other people. I forget exactly how the sequence of events happens, but he's got this huge like mitt almost on. I think it's because his hand's like messed up. And so he's got this huge thing on his hand, and he's got like tape wrapped around it. And then he like has a chain that he's like chained to, and he's like using his chain, this chain to fight. And just like the creativity like of just everything. Those fights are just amazing.
Makes me want to watch those shows again. That show again.
Yeah, I actually want to like go back through Daredevil. I think I actually started watching back through Daredevil, and I just didn't keep watching it, but it's a really good show.
My dad's watching Punisher right now.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I need to check it out sometime.
That one's definitely, that one's a little even more gruesome, I think, than Daredevil.
I think that's what I heard. I heard well, there was a gruesome like thing with Punisher in the Daredevil show, I remember, and I was just like, oh my gosh. Like, I think that he was like the mob that one of the mobsters that they were like drilling his foot or something crazy like that. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. And then he still got up and like kicked everyone's butts and everything, but you really felt,
I mean, it's definitely
the drilling.
Yeah, there's definitely no mercy in the Punisher show.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just blowing heads off, and I mean, it's not like that, like, like seeing it like that intense, but a lot of people die in that show. He's not the Daredevil. He doesn't keep people mostly alive. He's not Batman.
He's the Punisher. He's not the discipliner.
Oh, that's a good fight scene I just thought of.
What?
In an otherwise slightly mediocre movie, Batman v Superman.
Yeah.
When you have Batman...
No, that's a good movie. There are some good fights in that movie.
When you have Batman going in to save Martha.
Oh, yeah. Is that when he just, like, kills
He just goes ham on these people in the warehouse.
Breaking bones and stuff.
That was... I love the Dark Knight movies. I like the fighting in that. But this was the first time I've seen, like, a Batman that, like...
He's not pulling his punches.
He looked brutal, and like he looked like he was like Batman. I mean, he was definitely far more brutal. Like,
he didn't have the rule. Like, he may not have been trying to kill anyone, but like Batman's rule is not to kill.
Yes.
And so he's fighting in such a way that he's sure that he's not going to kill anyone. Whereas in Batman vs Superman, he is not worried if someone dies accidentally.
But he felt like a Batman. Yeah. His fighting.
No, I agree.
And the way he went about it, using the grappling hook and just the way he fought, it felt like a Batman fighting. Yeah. Even more than the Christian Bale stuff. Yeah,
I think the Christian Bale Batman, he's good for that universe. You know what I mean? Like, I like him in that universe, but the Batman in the just like in the Snyderverse, or what you want to call it, he felt more like a comic book Batman.
Yes.
Like, he felt like the most comic book Batman we've seen, I think.
Absolutely.
So I definitely appreciated that, and I still need to see the Snyder cut.
I do too, actually.
Still want to see that because seems good. Seems like it was good movie. You know, the Batman v Superman, there was a director's cut that apparently
I heard was better.
A lot
I haven't
better.
seen it
I think
either.
I may have seen it. I can't remember.
I want to. I will at one point.
I remember watching that movie though and being like, and not getting all the hate like as much.
Not as much of the hate, but it wasn't like a great movie. I mean, this is coming off of me. I really liked Man of Steel.
Yeah,
A lot.
No, it wasn't as good as Man of Steel. I'll give it that. I think part of it's just because I feel it was a little more Batman centric.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Anyway, but to bring it back to Star Wars,
always got to bring it back to Star Wars.
The most impactful, I think, recent fight I've seen in Star Wars, I would say, is the Luke hallway fight in Mandalorian season 3. Or impactful, I guess.
I was going to say impactful.
I guess when I say impactful, I mean like nostalgia wise.
Yeah. Okay. I can get.
So, I guess I'm just talking about the visceral feeling I had watching that show. And not knowing, I actually did see a slight spoiler.
I didn't when it came out,
but
so.
I barely had been spoiled of it, and I was very excited. And then my wife didn't know, and so seeing that green lightsaber show up, and then seeing it like up close, you see the hilt, and you're like, "That is freaking Luke Skywalker," and just all the movement, everything, the way he's just taking these guys out, and even just the way he moved like Luke Skywalker. Like he felt like Luke Skywalker, even though, you know, it wasn't Mark Hamill doing all of it, you know. That was just like a really amazing hallway fight. And where you're just watching Luke Skywalker just completely take out these supposed to be like very, very formidable. I mean, you see in the show they're very formidable death troopers, they call them.
Yeah, like they're like Death Droid trooper things.
Yeah, and but for him, they're just like he just cuts through them like butter, you know,
like butter.
So that's one I didn't want to fail to mention.
That is a good one. I thought you were going with most impactful. I thought you were going with Obi-Wan Vader
from the show. I mean, that was definitely emotionally impactful.
Yeah, as far as impactful in most recent, that one was emotional wise. That was another. You know, they could have done better with it, but I rewatched it the other day actually, and there's still a lot to it that's just like.
I still go back to there was a like technically I think it may be the most realistic like sword fight wise, you know, just the way they use grapples and just different styles, changing hand grips and stuff like that for different leverage and things like that, using the environment, you know.
A good one.
Yeah, definitely good.
So I think we just determined that the Star Wars is the GOAT.
Apparently.
What? All right, here we'll end it with this. What is your favorite fight scene that you can think of right now?
That I can think of ever?
Ever. For any reason. Whether you just think it's cool,
my favorite fight scene ever. I don't know. I mean, the episode 1 fight with Maul is pretty up there. You know, to bring in a fantasy one, the Ammon Hen, the fight at the end of, I wouldn't call this a battle scene because it's just the Fellowship, but at the end of Fellowship of the Ring, when Frodo and Boromir have their little fight,
the little tussle,
little thing, and then the Uruk-hai show up. That whole sequence is just a really awesome sequence. Like you've got the tension of Frodo trying to leave, Sam trying to find him. Then you've got Merry and Pippin, and they're like in the crosshairs of the Uruk-hai, you know. And then you have Aragorn and Gimli and Legolas are just like, what is happening? Orcs, and there's like taking orcs down, but they're trying to find Frodo. They're trying to figure out what's going on, you know. And even like I think the whole thing starts with Frodo and Aragorn talking, and then he sees like Frodo's sword is glowing, He's like, run.
Yeah.
And then he turns around
yeah.
and there's like, he's just facing down like this whole group of orcs by himself at first. You know, so that was just a really expertly done like fight scene. And then within that you have Boromir's last stand. I mean, then you have Aragorn coming to the aid of Boromir and fighting, taking out Lurtz. That fight is really,
that whole just last scene.
Yeah.
The whole last section is really good.
It's just it's one of those things too where it's like, you know, when you're watching the movie again, you know things are going to end kind of on a little bit of a down note for the Fellowship, but at the same time, that whole fight scene that it leads to is so epic to watch. So there's another one that's I definitely put up there. What about you? What do you think your favorite fight scene ever?
You know, I asked this question, I just don't even have an answer.
You fool!
There's a lot. There's quite a few that I have that I really, really enjoy and really like watching. Episode 3, obviously, is a big one for me.
Yeah.
For multiple reasons, for the emotional way, the technical standpoint, the cinematography, all that good stuff. I mean, I really enjoy another one that I really just like. I just enjoy. I find myself going back to it and watching a lot. Is the Deceived Stars of the Old Republic cinematic. That one's just a favorite of mine. Yeah, I think that one it's just a really nice. It's really animation is really well done. I like the Old Republic in general. Yeah. The fighting in it is super cool. I like the story of the cinematic. Just good stuff. Yeah. All Star Wars. I just love Star Wars.
That's all you want. It's more Star Wars fight scenes.
No, I'd throw in the Captain America Winter Soldier fight scene too, with him and Winter Soldier at the end. Yeah. Or just any of those fight scenes in that movie in general are really good.
Yeah, I remember the fight scene on the boat at the beginning even was really good with that big guy. He's like a knife fighter.
Yeah, that one's really good.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff in there. You know, another one not to get into it, but just real quick, the fight scene in Avengers Infinity War with Iron Man and the Guardians and Doctor Strange on Titan or whatever Thanos' homeworld is. Like that whole where they come up with that whole plan and then they execute it and they almost get the gauntlet off. That's always really I get drawn in by that fight because of how it's interesting. It's awesome to see how they all in their own different superhero ways are doing their part to do that, and they almost do it. You know, it's just always a very intense thing that they failed mission. But anyway,
one more actually, just thought of.
Throw it out.
Far From Home. With the 3 Spideys fighting at the end.
Oh yeah, that's a recent one but you're right.
That is a really good one.
That should climb up on the list because that is just so much nostalgia.
So that's a big part of it is the nostalgia for sure.
But it's so good.
But it's also really well done.
Because it's like you've seen like these different Spider-Mans fighting and you've enjoyed their fight scenes in their own movies, and now you're watching them all fight together at the same time
and also learning to do it for the first time together, you know. Definitely that one's definitely
that's
up there.
That's a good one to mention for sure. I hope they'll do more interesting stuff with that, because they seem to be on board. Those actors seem to be on board doing more stuff like that. Definitely Andrew Garfield.
Andrew Garfield's just on board for everything. He's such a great person. Him and Tom Holland are. Well, I mean, so is Tobey Maguire.
They need to make Amazing Spider-Man 3.
They do. He would do it too.
Oh yeah,
he would absolutely do it. Anyway, what do you say we call it here? Next you hear from us.
Podcast.
Next you hear from us, we'll have gone to the conference. We'll probably have a conversation about that.
Yeah. We'll probably talk about do our reactions to it and that sort of thing.
It'll be good.
Be fun. We'll have some stories to tell.
Maybe even and maybe on next episode we'll have a little guest on. We'll see. Tease a little guest.
Guest. Who are we supposed to tease?
I'm not gonna say their name. I'll tell you later.
Okay, this is tease that there'll be a guest.
Just tease that there's a guest.
Yeah, surprise.
Surprise! You're being teased.
Well, this has been the Bridge of Two Fight Podcast. A far, far away fight bridge.
That fights a lot.
That actually ties back into the end of the last episode.
Shut up. Okay. We need to go before it gets worse. Oh.
It's going on a t-shirt.
It's got to now.